We're here live at One Civic Plaza, right?
Center.
One Civic Center, right, in Scottsdale with Karen, and please pronounce your last name.
Churchard.
Churchard, yeah. Karen is the Director of Tourism and Events for the City of Scottsdale. And we just kind of want to chat about that because it's a lot of responsibility you driving into the city here, huh?
Yes, actually tourism is one of our best economic drivers, if you will, for the cities, and long-standing that way. So we have approximately 9 million visitors that come annually. About 4.5 of those are overnight visitors, and 4.4 are day visitors. What's interesting about that number, though, is that that's just domestic.
Oh wow! So that doesn't count any international.
No international. We're working on that right now with our partners, Experience Scottsdale, and a company out of Washington D.C.
So how do they track that?
Well, that's been our challenge. We used to have numbers, and it's just the way the federal government's changed the way they're doing things with airlines and airports in terms of checking. So we're working out a process right now with using Visa data. And
so the 9 million could be much more.
It will be, yes. I mean, back a few years ago when we still had international numbers, I believe it was closer to 11 million.
So I read something that was kind of mind blowing me, but it's like $2.4 billion a year. Is that right?
A $2.4 billion economic impact to all the businesses and in the city of Scottsdale.
And so what does that track? I mean, that's hotels, obviously restaurants, bars, ball games, everything else.
Yeah, it's all the impacts from visitors coming and whether renting cars or staying in hotels, resorts, shopping, going to the restaurants, going to our amazing attractions and events and that type of thing. So yeah, it's a combination of all that and what's the economic impact out of all the businesses.
So what's, it puts you in the hot seat a little bit, what's your favorite event for the whole year? I don't know if you can pick a favorite.
Wow. Well, baseball is near and dear to my heart, just from growing up. But I have to say, I love the Phoenix Open. And, we do a lot of amazing events and smaller amazing events along our canal. It's
you do like some art walks and stuff like that.
Yeah, we do art walk. That's been going on for 45 years. I mean, Western Week is something that we're promoting, we're packaging. We just had our 66th annual Prado del Sol Parade, our 64th Pony Express ride from Holbrook, and the art walk, and we actually created a new event, Arizona Indian Festival. It represents all of our tribes. It's just finished our second year. It's all held in February, and that's been really great. And then down at our canal banks, which a lot of citizens call Scottsdale Waterfront. We have a lot of great events out there.
So like anytime we go down there, there's like little art festivals, whatever going on. You guys are tied into that. I mean,
we are, Our department, we oversee 3 different things. The bed tax revenues that come in, and 50% of that goes to destination marketing, Experience Scottsdale, and then the other 50% stays in our city coffers, if you will, and we support tourism-related events and tourism-related capital projects. So we provide funding to special events that meet our criteria and qualifications. We also permit and review all the special event applications for safety and for all. With the exception of a few, like Westworld and Scottsdale Stadium, and a few others have their own staff that does that. So we're doing more of the open space, if you will.
So like Barrett Jackson, the Arabian Horse Show,
will be done
Bike
with
Week is something a little different.
We might sponsor those, so we have a different.
You tied in.
And then the other thing that we do is we oversee the management and marketing of our Old Town, our downtown area.
Absolutely.
So the staff person that's dedicated to that, we do a lot of marketing. And then that's where the events play it too. A lot of food-related events that happen on the canal banks.
So what's kind of going on with Old Town? So I read something in Scottsdale Independence Day where they were critiquing Old Town. I love it. I'm down there all the time. But it seems like sometimes a little difficult because it's in and out, as far as restaurants and businesses. Some are staying there a long time, but are you guys kind of tied in to helping it to be stabilized or, kind of in growth?
Well, we actually, we office with economic development, so we are working on some programs to work with small businesses to help them. But right now our main thing is more the maintenance side of it. We're tied into keeping, as best as we can with all of our different departments, knowing about, trees and trash and all that great stuff. And then we're really promoting downtown as a destination. It's definitely one of our top destinations, not just in the city of Scottsdale, but in the entire valley. When people come into town, into the Phoenix proper area, they want to come into.
That's where they go.
Yep, they go to Old Town. So we do see, the changings of restaurants and retail, but we also see there's a lot less vacancies.
Yeah.
So it's good, even though there might be some turnover. Overall, I think our Old Town is pretty healthy.
Yeah.
I mean, when you're spending a lot of your time talking about parking problems, there's not
that's
parking.
a good thing, right?
It's a good thing. It's like I always say, people, if you don't have a parking problem, you have a whole different problem, right?
Yeah. And there's so much more. I mean, obviously it's not part of the tourism and everything. It is a little bit, but like the Scottsdale Museum of Art and all that kind of stuff that's down here. So there's a lot of stuff to experience that I think a lot of people aren't really aware of.
Right, and that's a good point, John, that we're really working on right now. Just trying to tie together the Museum of Contemporary Art, our Center for Performing Arts, over to Scottsdale Museum of the West, which is a great, our newest addition, if you will. Even this Scottsdale Artist School, a lot of people don't know about that, and that's an amazing.
I don't know anything about that.
Yeah, it's a internationally known place where you can go learn from amazing artists how to paint and draw and
it's here, right in Old Town?
Right in Old Town, right across the street
how
from
cool is
the
that?
Museum of the West.
I'll
Yeah, the old Liloma School.
Oh, okay. That's exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, absolutely. So what kind of led you here? I mean, I know in the past you worked with the Fiesta Bowl, which had to be kind of fun, right?
Oh yeah, 21 years of fun.
Oh, was it really? You were 21 years?
21 years. I came out of college and worked worked up to being Vice President of Operations. I left in 2002, and then I did some consulting work and helped bring the 2008 Super Bowl
that's kind of cool.
to the area. And
did you get to go?
Yes.
You know, what up on it?
That was fun. I actually got to go to a few prior just to learn.
Absolutely.
So that was a really great opportunity. And that turned more into tourism. From being special events oriented, I went more to tourism. I worked for the Tourism Alliance, and then the governor's office, Governor Napolitano's office at the time, asked me to come on board the state to produce the Arizona Centennial events. And activities. So I did that. And then I was there for 7.5 years, and then it was time to make a change. And the position opened up here as tourism events director, and I've been here for 3 years. Love it.
So what's the staff like here? I mean, how many people are you guys
in my office?
Yeah.
My little, I call it my small but mighty team.
Yeah, I love it.
There's 6 of us.
Okay, wow.
That do a lot of work.
So you guys are busy.
We're busy. We're very busy. And then we house with economic development, which is also a small staff.
Sure.
But we're here in the One Civic Center with planning and transportation and public works, more capital projects, budgeting. So we're really tied in a lot with other departments.
We guys are bringing a lot of revenue, so I'm sure they keep an eye on what's going on over here.
Right.
Keep it going. So what do you see coming in the future for, like, I know the stadium project is going to happen. There's going to be some renovations there, and I'm sure that helps with the tourism. And any other big things on the horizon that you see happening?
Well, I know I guess probably the biggest thing right now is just on Monday night, the council voted to bring a bond election to the citizens of Scottsdale with I believe it's 67 projects. Right. Yeah. So that's all the capital improvement. That's all the capital improvement, but there's a lot of new opportunities in there as well.
Sure.
From a Old Town perspective, there's quite a few things in there. And the Civic Center is a big piece of it. And we're right now. I'm just starting to work on with our city manager and our council and our Tourism Development Commission is the Super Bowl in 2023. So we're just starting to, we'll gotta prep for that. We gotta prep for that, and we're hoping that we can attract some of the larger events here in our city. We'll see. It's an NFL decision, but those are just.
I'm sure they will. Why wouldn't they? Right? The city rocks. So let's talk a little bit about. So we're realtors by trade, but so talk about the short-term vacation rental versus the resorts. That's got to be a little tough on tourism, right? Well, not bad on tourism, but I mean,
it's interesting. I know just enough to be somewhat dangerous, right?
Sure.
I've heard things. I do know that we are starting to track our taxes that are paid for those short-term rentals that are coming in, and so from that standpoint, that's been somewhat positive.
So is that included in your bed count? Like, I mean,
yes,
it is. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Cool.
So we're seeing an increase with that, which is helps us overall. I'm not as up to speed in terms. I know planning's doing some research with it, And I've had some conversations about, you know, I guess some concerns.
Sure,
But
yeah,
I
absolutely.
don't really hear those day to day, like probably the council and
Yeah,
the
yeah.
planning department probably hears more about
Well,
that.
we've got amazing, beautiful resorts in the city,
Right.
right? So I mean, that's a pretty competitive little environment, I would think, how to balance that, you know?
Right, and you know, it will be interesting to see down, if it really causes, you know, concern, if you will, with the
Sure.
hotels. Right now, our occupancy is pretty high, but our.
We're like about 70-some%, is that about right?
Mhm,
Okay.
correct, and then, you know, during March, I don't know what it was this March, cause we don't have our numbers quite yet, we should be getting them any day, but normally that's in the 85%,
Oh, yeah.
so
Yeah,
that's the highest it usually gets.
Right.
But the rates are what is really driving
Mhm.
our, you know, their rates are super high,
Yeah,
and that's
yeah.
good for us, but
Good for
hard
some,
to
right.
fathom when people are spending, you know, $600 a night for a
I
hotel
know, it's
room.
crazy, right?
Yeah.
It's crazy. Where's all like I
Yeah.
watched the whole Barrett Jackson and Waste Management Open, and boy, the prices
They go way up,
pretty
and they're
quick.
staying higher than they've been
Sure.
in the past, so that even though occupancy's been good, it's been kind of flat,
Mhm.
but the rate is really what's driving.
Yeah. So do you
Indirect-
get to work with all the resorts and kind of put that stuff, you know, I mean, you guys brainstorm together?
Indirectly, the city has a contract with Experience Scottsdale.
Okay,
They're
yeah.
our destination marketing organization.
Yeah.
Per voter approval back in 2011, the voters approved that 50% of our bed tax would go to a destination marketing organization.
Okay.
So that's a $10.5 million contract,
Mhm.
and my staff and I, mostly me, manage that contract.
Okay, wow.
So I spend a lot of time with them. I don't micromanage them. I mean,
Sure.
they've got a great staff and a great team that markets our destination, and their focus is on outside of the state.
Yeah, yeah, of
They'll
course,
do a little
yeah.
bit in Phoenix and Tucson in the summer, but mostly it's
So they're
Chicago
driving from the
and
Midwest
San
and the West Coast and everything else.
New York,
Yeah.
Chicago, Los Angeles, San Francisco are our core markets, if you will.
So it seems kind of strange, but being a Midwestern guy, it seems like Mississippi's almost this dividing line, right? The river. So if you're on the west of the Mississippi, you come to Phoenix, you come to Arizona. If you're on the east, you can go to Florida. So how do we get those Florida people to quit going over there and coming over here? I mean, it's kind of like, doesn't it seem like that? You know, we
Well,
get Minnesota and a lot of that, but not so much
you
Indiana.
hear a little.
maybe.
Yeah, you hear a little bit about it, but the Midwest cities are dry. You know,
Sure.
they do come here, and like I said, New York and they're starting to go up into Connecticut and some other
Mhm.
areas.
Cool.
I think what's interesting about Experience Scottsdale and probably other destination marketing organizations, but they do a lot of research,
Sure.
so they know where our customers are, and they
To
really,
where are they coming from? What's our biggest?
well,
our big
Chicago
state?
is our biggest state.
Oh, is it really?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Not
okay.
state, city,
Yeah.
Chicago,
Yeah.
but you know, Illinois overall, but Chicago is
Yeah.
our.
What about the Canadians? We get a lot of the
A
Canadians.
lot of Canadians,
Yeah.
yep, and I wanna say, I should know this off the top of my head, but I think Vancouver's one of the
Oh, yeah, that
other
makes
cities,
sense. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it just
But
seems like.
they market in a lot of different parts, mostly on the western side of Canada.
So they're out there actually actively, that is part of your whole game plan, they're out there marketing
They are.
across the country and Canada for that. Anything else
Internationally,
international?
yeah, they do international, they do Mexico, Canada, United Kingdom, Germany is a big market
Mhm.
for us, and I'm missing somebody and I can't remember who it is off the top of my head, but, they have, contracts with different, public relations, marketing
Sure.
groups in those countries, and they are the ones that help get the
Yeah, absolutely.
name out there, Scottsdale name out
Sure.
there, so.
So I mentioned with just a staff of 6, which is great, but with the amount that you guys are handling, so is your day-to-day kind of a lot of fires going on, or is it more planning, or what kind of happens?
It's a little bit of both. Right now it's a lot of planning. I mean,
Right.
we're a city government, so we have a lot of processes that we
Sure.
go through. We produce quite a number, certainly not near the number of city council action reports that the planning
Sure.
department does, but we do a pretty good fair share
Mhm.
with the events that we're funding. And right now we're going through our budget process,
Oh,
so
wow.
we're kind of on that
Sure.
end of that, and rates and fees and just all these little nuances that you don't really think about.
Mhm.
And then I manage not only Experience Scottsdale's contract, but also Scottsdale Arts,
Oh, okay.
which does our public art, Center for Performing
Yep,
Arts,
yep,
SMOCA. They do a
absolutely.
huge education component. So I work with them. We're renegotiating our contract with them right now.
Mhm.
and I oversee, our contract with Museum of the West.
Oh, wow, okay.
So just those take day to day, you know,
Sure.
just
Sure.
relationships and our partners.
What about up north? So I live in North Scottsdale, and not a forgotten child. I don't want to make it sound like that, but there's a lot of focus here and in the southern part of Scottsdale. How any efforts or thoughts or things going on up there that maybe people aren't aware of, or that they can be more involved in, or?
Well, from a tourism event standpoint,
Yeah.
we do, even though Westworld has their own department and their own staff, we meet with them a lot about
Sure.
bringing new events to that area. And we also work with Taliesin West. We're looking at trying to do some programming out there with
So that'd be
that.
really cool. It seems like there'd be a
Yes.
lot more going on there, I think.
In our conversations with Scottsdale Arts, they have a new CEO who came in, he's been here just a year now, and he has a great vision for more arts out in the North
Sure.
Scottsdale area, bringing things there.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
So Waste Management Open, you guys get into that? I mean, I would imagine, because you're housing a lot of those people. I mean,
yes,
they're in the city.
we don't do the permitting directly, but we work. I have a staff person who works with fire and police
Sure.
and the group, but that's mainly because it's a facility oriented.
Right.
It's kind of managed a little bit differently, but we're involved with that.
Okay,
Yes.
cool. And are you a native? Did we?
Not quite.
Okay, because you went to NAU, right?
I went to NAU.
So-
my parents moved here when I was 2, so I
Oh,
feel like
okay.
a
So
native,
you got-
but I wasn't
you got
born
2
here.
years.
I have, full disclosure, I wasn't born here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
two's
Yeah.
pretty close. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, anything else you'd like to share with the people that are kind of keeping an eye on us?
No, I think I'm glad you guys are doing this, so let
Thank
people
you.
know what's going on in
Sure.
the city. I think I think it's one of the best cities in
Oh, I love it.
Arizona
Absolutely.
and
I love it.
nation. So
Mhm. Yeah.
support our events and
Yeah, we do.
all
Thank
the
you
great amenities.
so much.
Thank
We appreciate your time.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
thank you.